Welcome to the Mind of Reese podcast. I'm your host, Reese Hilburn, tattoo artist, tattoo shop owner, and spiritual tattoo business coach. Basically, your all-around tattoopreneur. Here to bring you all things tattoo business, marketing, mindset, manifestation, and spirituality. This podcast is meant to help you expand your mind and up-level your tattoo business. I am so excited that you are here. Welcome back to another episode of the Mind of Reese. I am so excited that you are here. Holy shit, I am about to go to New York and go hang out with Each Magazine and basically go do a couple tattoos out there, do some filming with them. And then I am also going to France, Deauville, France, to be exact. I have really great friendships that I've created out there. I've done many conventions down in the south of France at Cezanne with a great promoter and convention owner named Patu, and his family is amazing. And so this is finally me going to this other convention that they are throwing called Deauville, which is awesome. I think it's like an hour and a half away from Paris, down south on a little beach town. I've never been. I've always wanted to go, and I was supposed to go in 2020, but we all know what happened then. So I am excited for this to be my first time here. And I'm just excited for the fact that they're excited to have me. Like, I was just having this conversation the other day with Patu, and he's so like family oriented. And I remember the first time I ever had done a convention with him in like 2016, and it was a gnarly ride. I wasn't sure if I was gonna make it, and then all of a sudden, because I had lost my passport. Well, I didn't lose it; it got stolen from me. It was all my money, my passport, and I was in Florida. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to make this convention. And I just remember that he was like, oh, she's just a diva, another American diva. And I did everything in my power, literally everything. I saw myself get there, and all I did was just have the wherewithal. I went to, an embassy, got a passport within 12 hours just because I had offered a guy that actually ended up knowing me via social media and via Tattoo Nightmares, the show that I was on in 2014. That he was like, I was like, listen, I'll give you a free tattoo if you could just let me push me to the front of the line. Got my passport, went to the bank, got a temporary credit card, had my parents like FedEx my old ID, and got to the airport, and they were like, absolutely not. You're not coming in. You didn't call to reschedule your flight. And because, to be honest, when that happened, when everything got stolen from me, literally like the night before, I just assumed that I wasn't going to make it. I was like, I'm heading back to California. Like, this is shit. Patu was so kind. He'd paid for everything, the flight, the hotel, the convention booth, all the things for me to get out there. And I felt like kind of a dick for not like showing up, but it was like under circumstances that I couldn't control. And I just felt really bad. And but I just knew I had to be there because I didn't want to let anybody down. And so I was like, if I can get this done, if I can get there and get all this stuff where I'm going to go. But if I can't, I can't. I can't do anything about it. And so literally get to the airport. There was a guy who was like, I'm sorry, we can't do anything. You're going to have to pay for a whole new flight. And I was like, that's fine. Like, let's go. I don't care. And then there was like this really long line, and this woman, was like right behind me, and she was like, if you're not going to get a flight, like, can you move out of the way? So I was like, oh yeah, sorry. She's like, I'm in a rush. And she starts yelling at the helper. She starts yelling at the guy behind the desk. And the guy was just like, ma'am, I can't help you. Like, I can't fix this. And I don't know what was going on, but I was just standing on the sidelines and just absolutely just breathing in my power and just trying to be like, I am not going to let this woman's stress come into me. As an empathetic human being, I definitely I can feel other people's energy. I can understand and discern between whose energy is mine and whose energy is not. And this was just like an innate thing that I do now. I'm cultivating it a bit more, understanding like the boundaries that I can create. However, so I think this was going on for at least 10 minutes. She's just like raising her voice for no reason. And I just that was it. I was at the last straw. I was so tired. I didn't get any sleep. I had done all I could, and now I was at the last part of it, and all I needed was a ticket to get on a plane to get to France ASAP. And so I stepped up in front of her and I was like, listen, ma'am, he's doing everything that he can to help you. You do not need to raise your voice at him. It is okay. You are going to live. Nothing's going to happen. Like, it's all right. And he just looks at me and he just looks at me. He just gives me this like this look. And I was just like, okay. And at this point I was like, all right, I am not going to make it for the first day of the convention. I just need to buy another ticket because the flights apparently were all full. And I was like, not going to make it until like maybe the last day. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like at least I make it for one day. Like I just kept like telling myself, as long as I make it, it's going to be okay. Like as long as I make it, it's going to be okay. And the woman finally like chills out, calms down. They were able to figure out what it was that was the deal with her. And I'm sitting down and the guy, after like a long line of people he gets through and I'm just sitting there just like kind of waiting, he calls me up and he goes, here's your ticket. And I was like, what? Like, here's my ticket. He's like, yeah, you can have my standby. You can get there. And I was like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, you got to run. You got to go make it. And he just was like, don't even say thank you. Don't even think about it. Just go. And so literally sprinted to the gate. The gate was, I was the last person on board. I was the very back of the plane. But I made it. I made it literally, I think the day before, on a Thursday, before the convention started on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I still made it. And it's funny because my manager at the time had a photo of me looking up at her. And I was like, I made it. And she's like, how the fuck did you do that? How did you get a passport, a ticket? How did you even get a flight? You know, all of these things in less than 12 hours. And it was just because I had believed, I had the vision that I was going to do it. And so that's like a fun segue story of one of the many adventures of Reese in this industry and how much I have done and how much fun and craziness. And oh my gosh, so much craziness. I will definitely come on here and tell more stories about my career and, you know, like the ins and outs of like the traveling and I've done. But that's one huge beautiful story of wherewithal, of understanding what it is that I wanted, what it is I needed to do, letting go and surrendering of the how, letting go and surrendering the outcome, like just being totally within my power of just being like, this is okay. If it doesn't work out, it's all good. At least I tried. Like follow through energy. Let me just follow through, regardless of the outcome, regardless, no expectations. I had zero because the expectation was that I wasn't going to make it. That was the expectation. So I was at rock bottom at that point. And so anything above that was great. Like from the moment that I had my parents FedEx me my ID, to get a bank card, to, you know, to get a passport. Like it was a 24-hour passport. And I waited at the embassy hanging out for, I think it was like 8 to 10 hours. Just there were people in there just waiting and waiting for their own passports. And all I was doing was just playing with the little kids that were what else could we do? I was reading, playing with the little kids, playing on my phone. Like I couldn't do anything. I couldn't leave this room because I needed the passport. And yeah, and then all of a sudden they called my name and I just couldn't believe it. And it just so happened to be the guy that I was like, hey, thank you for letting me turn in my what's it called? My application in, because the application turn in was like at 2, and I think I showed up at like 2:05 or like 2:10, like something just randomly out, and he was like already like no, and I get it, you know, like there's so many people probably begging to just like it was only a little bit late, but he's like, no, the time is 2, like I have to cut it off because there's probably so many people trying to get passports in one day. And so, yeah, so I couldn't believe that he I could bribe him first off, second off, because he recognized, he was like, yeah, are you Reese? And I was like, oh my God, yes, I can give you a tattoo. I will give you a tattoo. Whatever, what can I do? Please, I'm going to miss a convention. Please. And he was just like, yeah, no problem. And then hands it in. And then I think he even helped me out in the process of me just getting it sooner. So it was like, I just had a vision. I went for it. I took the action. I had no expectation. I surrendered the outcome. I did it all from like just a chill, regulated nervous system, as regulated as I could get it to be, and just had the belief that no matter what, I had my motherfucking back. And that was the point. You know, that's the point of it all. It's like This is how you manifest the life of your dreams. This is how you create trust within yourself to understand what inspired action takes. This is what it takes to create that confidence within yourself to feel the fear and do it anyway. And so this is the question though. Like I had the vision was what I held true to. It was the long-term vision. The long-term vision was I'm going to make it. That was the short-term, that was my micro vision. But my long-term vision is, I wanted to impact people with my art. That's the long-term vision. That's the question that I want to ask you guys today. It's like, ask yourself the question, what is it that you want in this career? What is your long-term vision? What is the message that you can hold so tightly to that you feel in your pores every time you go to show up? Every time you say, fuck, I don't want to do this. This is scary. This makes me uncomfortable. What is the message you are going to ask yourself? I mean, what is the mission? What is the goal? That's the question. And since I've always had a really tight goal, and it's gotten tighter and tighter and tighter. Tighter, and what I mean is that like I have it down to like beautiful words. Like I have the message written down. It is a mantra of mine that my body just naturally says every moment I wake up, every little thing that I do, every time I go work out, every time I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and I'm like, I don't want to go work out. But it's the mission in my mind that I'm like, if I don't go work out, I won't feel good physically. And if I don't feel good physically, that means I can't show up as my highest creative self, to show up for my client, to do the best tattoo of the day for me. Tattoo of the day every day, baby. I can't win that tattoo of the day award if I'm not feeling good. And it means that, you know what? I'm gonna be a little upset with the tattoo that I do because it's not gonna be good enough. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of grace in that. There's a lot of grace. If my body is like, I'm sore, I listen. There is so many little things that you've got to do throughout your day. And it's like dropping out of your head, listening to your body and being like, okay, intuition, should I go to the gym today? Do I want to go to the gym today? My body normally says yes. There are some occasions, especially if I'm going to bleed, or if I'm going to start my period or whatever, if like I'm ovulating, those are sometimes like I feel like, no, my body wants to chill. Okay, listen, I'm listening. I'm going to listen. But I'm always going to hold true to the mission. Is this going to be adhering to the mission? So if my mission in life is to impact as many people as possible through healing myself, help others thrive in their businesses, because when you thrive, we thrive. Help tattooers create a foundation, sustainable business to continue to grow. Give them the tools, not only the mindset tools, but the actual strategies and structures. This is my mission. And by this, that big mission, my macro mission, my micro mission, and all of that is to do the best tattoos of the day, is to make sure that my physical health is great, is to constantly be listening to my intuition. Because if intuition is like, today, we're taking a day off from working out. We're taking a day off from whatever it is we need to take a day off from. We're not going to be on social media today. We don't need to show up today. We only want to do world-class things. If we're not intentional with everything that we do, then we are not adhering to the values of the mission. But what's a mission? That's the question. So I have such conviction for this mission, for my message, for my movement, because I feel so alive. And I know it's my soul's purpose. It is my soul's purpose to do this. If it lights me the fuck up, that means that it is a part of my purpose on this planet. My soul's purpose is being done in this moment because of the fact that I feel so fucking good when I see people thriving, and I feel so fucking good to just see myself thriving. Like, that's the point of life, you guys. And if I can adhere to every little thing within my life that allows that to continue to thrive and to help others thrive, Of course I'm going to spend 30 grand on mentorship. Of course I'm going to work out 4:30 in the morning. Of course I'm going to eat really fucking healthy so that the vessel that I'm living in is taken care of so that I can be in this industry for the longevity of a lifetime of a legacy. You got to remember, you guys, you got to stretch your time horizon. You're not here for just a month, a day, a year. What is the goal? What is the goal in your career? What do you actually want out of this? Yeah, the micro goal is to be booked out months in advance, impact people with your lives, get more followers on Instagram. Those are the micro, because in that sense, when we look at it that way, we're impacting people. We're sharing with people. But in the macro, what's the macro goal? What's the overall goal? What is it that you want to do? For me, I was like, man, I thought it was like travel, television, impacting more people, lots of conventions, owning a shop, all these things. And of course, that was definitely, those were big macro goals. And when I started to reach those goals and do all the things, holy crap, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm literally doing all the things. I'm literally doing every single thing that, I mean, some people could only dream they had in their career, and you don't have to dream about it. You can do it because it's absolutely possible for you. If it's possible for me, it's possible for you. The only difference between maybe it not happening is because you haven't quite looked inside yourself and asked yourself the question, what is it that I really want? But in order to understand, like, what is the actual career goal, in order to understand that goal, we have to learn. We have to understand ourselves. We have to understand who we are. And in order to understand who we are, we got to get really uncomfortable, baby. And that shit sucks. That shit doesn't feel good sometimes. Because when we don't know what the career goal is, and we're like, okay, I don't know what I want out of this career, it's because you don't know yourself well enough to know that. And that's the thing. That's where to start. So you need to start with the question and then dive deeper. Because the question is always going to bring you an intuitive answer, especially when you're asking the right ones and you're doing it from the chin down. When you are not thinking from your mind, but you are feeling through your body what it is you actually want, because all we want in this world is a feeling. We want to feel happy. We want to feel successful. We want to feel confident. So when we feel through, we allow our intuitive body, the wisdom, the infinite wisdom that you already own within you, to allow it to have a voice, to get to know that voice, to get to know what it is you want, and understand what wounds you have inside of you that might be stopping you from getting that. That is going to be your new reality. And when you start to understand who you are and parts of yourself that you're like, you know what? That just doesn't feel right. And I don't want that. And that doesn't serve me anymore. I want something more. Okay, how do I do that? How do I transmute this belief within me, this limiting belief within me that's telling me I can't show up because I'm shy, or I don't know what to say, or people just won't understand what I have to say. They're going to judge me. Where inside of you can you be like, all right, I now know, like, I feel like this is what I want in my career. And it'll change and morph and evolve over time as you start to heal and grow and transmute and transcend. But when you finally ask yourself the question, it's like, what do I want in my career? The real question is what do I want? And then when you realize the real question, the deeper question is, who am I to know what I want? And then it's like, okay, I don't even know who I am. I don't even know myself well enough to know what I want. And then you got to really create the beautiful relationship between you and you. And that's the most important relationship you could ever have, because all you've got is you. That's all you've got. You've only got you. You've only got you to trust you. When that whole thing was happening to me with and trust me, there are way crazier adventures I've been on in this lifetime on this planet that would adhere something much crazier, just a lot more stressful. But in this particular fun adventure with the France thing and everything, everybody expected me not to be there. Everybody said I wasn't going to make it. They're like, there's no way you can get a passport even. There's no way you could even get a passport in 24 hours. If you're going to be here, you're going to be late. If you're late, they're still going to be upset because they did all this stuff for you and la 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 and all the stories. What did I do? I didn't hear them. I heard them, but I was like, well, I'm going to try. What else can I do? Am I going to just give up because I believe everybody else and I'm just going to allow that judgment to get to me? I've never done that before. I've always felt the fear and the judgment, and I've always jumped with my eyes closed and hoped there was a net at the bottom. I've just been that way. I've been very fortunate to have lived a life that's been scary, but that's what I've done. And so this is something where I would love to encourage others to do the same. It's like feel the fear and do it anyway. And there's a lot of things I've had to like move through in order to get there. There was a lot of times I felt the fear and backed away and escaped from it, and there was no way I was going to move through that. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm no, superhero, or I don't have superpowers. I just certain things. I did most of them based off fear anyway. I was like, I'm just afraid that they won't like me, so I'm gonna do it. Nor that actual fear pushed me forward, where that actual fear might scare people away. It might be like, well, they might judge me. I'm not going to do it. I'm like, well, they're gonna judge me if I don't go, so I gotta go. It was like that. So it was like that's where it was coming from. Although I was utilizing all the tools of like manifestation and spirituality and allowing myself to just move through this without even knowing I was doing it until I was like, wow, in hindsight, I really do have all the inner wisdom tools to heal myself, help myself, take the inspired action, create the life that I want to live. I have that all within me. I just didn't know I was already doing it. Most of you are already doing it. It's just understanding what you're doing and utilizing those resources when things come up instead of having to back away from the fear every time. And then having to take a circle and then hit the fear again and then backing away from it and then hitting it again and backing away from it and hitting it again. You're like, all right, I'm going to try to move through this because I do not. It's like dating. When you're dating out in the dating scene, it's like I always attract assholes. It's like, let's put that into, I always attract assholes, or I always attract crazy girls. And it's like, okay, but have you moved through the fear of whatever it is you're going through? Have you transmuted whatever it is you needed to heal the wounds inside of you in order to move past the quote unquote crazy girl or assholes? There's something you need to learn. You're going to continue to hit the same obstacles until you learn it, because the only way you're going to transcend that and go on to bigger and better is by facing the fear. You can't escape it and expect to get rainbows and roses and things like that. I mean, you could, but those are fleeting and few and far between. My main escape was drinking or smoking weed or something like that. And I was like, I need to get out of my head. I just don't want to be a part of this. And sometimes, like that still happens to me every once in a while, but very less. Like I used to escape a lot. And I don't now, because I have the resources. I've realized the resources that I have within me innately and through mentorship and therapy and all this other stuff to allow me to move through this, to have support to move through this, because we all need support. We all need community. Like we are human beings. As natural beings of this planet, we want to congregate together. That's why plants and animals and humans and every living thing on this planet is together. That's why when you sing to your plant when they're, when you're watering them, how much they grow. how much they thrive. It's the same thing with your animal. If you talk to your dog in a really beautiful way and you just love them, they know it. They feel that energy. It's all about energetics. So we're all connected. We all want to be together because we are one consciousness. And so when we think about it that way, like, you have support if you go and seek it. Absolutely. You don't have to do this alone ever. But you do have to take radical responsibility for your own life. And you have to take radical responsibility for your own healing. And when you can do that, you build the trust, you build the discipline, you find the devotion, because the devotion comes from the mission and the message and the goal, basically the end goal. What is it you want out of this career? For me, as of this moment right now, it is to impact as many creatives, tattoo artists, tattoopreneurs, to show them, inspire them that they can thrive, to give them the tools that they can thrive and see them thrive. Because when they thrive, I thrive, and vice versa. And when we could all be doing the things that light us the fuck up, we heal the planet. And that is my hugest goal. Is because when we can all understand and start to think from the neck down, we can all understand that our innate wisdom is here, is right in here. It's right in our bodies to utilize at our disposal at any given time. And when we can kind of cultivate that relationship with that inner wisdom, that intuition, we could do anything. Build the life of your dreams. Live on the beach if you want to. Find the love of your life. Create the thing that you've always wanted to create. Buy all the things. Attract all the money. Attract all the clients. Do a television show. All of the things. You can do anything. You can do anything. Anything. So I want to just leave you with that. I want you to remember and to ask yourself the question daily if you have to. If you can't find the answer in one day, that's okay. Stretch your time horizon, baby. Like, think farther out. Not just what's happening today, not just what's happening in a week, not just what's happening in a month, a year. Those things can be thought about later. Let's think about the biggest picture. Let's think about the macro success. Let's think about the macro goal. What is it you want out of this career? And then if you can't find that, it's like, all right, what do I want? And when you realize, you're like, wow, if you tell yourself, I don't know, it's a perfect opportunity to drop out of victim, get back into empowerment, bring your power back to you and be like, all right, insert name. I want to get to know you better. So let's start. And that's where you start. You start from that place. You start from the place of like, all right, whatever's got me here, great. Love it. Not going to shame it. Love it, love it, love it. All the things that got me here, the fear of judgment, the fear of people not liking me, the fear of whatever, that got me here. And I'm okay with that. I'm not going to shame that part of me. That got me here. But what's going to get me where I want to go is going to be from a place that's so different, because I know I can have peace, happiness, wealth, impact, community, and freedom, all from a regulated fucking nervous system if I choose it. So I'm choosing it. It's just a choice. We all get one. So what are you going to choose? All right, guys, I love you so much. I hope you love this episode. I am going to head out to friends, and I'm so excited to do so. If you love this episode, please, please, please share it. If you feel like this impacted you in some way, please share it to someone else, because that's all that fucking matters, is that we continuously share another way of doing life, another way of healing, another way of just bypassing the fucking hustle culture and realizing that, you know, the balance between the masculine and the feminine is so in right now. It is so in, and let's do it and let's be a part of it. Share it on your Instagram, share it with a friend, tag me, let me know. I fucking love hearing about it. I love hearing you guys loving the podcast. It just inspires me to continue on. I love you guys, and I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you on the next episode.